of winter are upon us. Glad you could join us. Shannon Bradbury here with you at the Weather Network. We do have active weather to break down, although spring starts tomorrow. Let's begin in Atlantic Canada. On the way for those in the Maritimes, already happening for regions like Yarmouth and Halifax, those to the south, but we do have widespread alerts in place. Wind warnings, not to mention snowfall, as well as special weather statements, freezing rain also associated with this, and just a rainfall warning. This is breaking it down by the timing. So we are seeing regions, as I mentioned, to the south into the snow already. That's going to continue as it continues to push further northeast into Newfoundland. We're going to get into that freezing rain risk. So Halifax, your timing is about pre-dawn hours that we could see that freezing rain. And then as it continues the evening hours into Newfoundland, then we have that rain filtering in behind it. And then again, as we reach really overnight into Tuesday, that risk for some more freezing rain. So really the transition period. How much snow? Well, 20 centimeters of snow. Those areas to the south, Halifax, 20 to 30. Cape Breton, PEI also getting hit hard as well. Moncton also could pick up some centimeters, but other regions in New Brunswick staying a little bit clear. 15 millimeters of rain though, so it really is this dynamic system, really Sunday through the overnight and then into Monday too. Into Newfoundland, even more rain for you in Newfoundland, 30 millimeters. Avalon, St. John's seeing that a lot, really Monday to Tuesday as it moves through a little bit later, and then widespread snowfall as well. 30 centimeters of snow. Areas like Grand Bank could pick up that freezing rain too. And then for Ontario, we'll break down this dynamic system, but let's first take a look outside of winter and take a look at those conditions. It was great. All right, this is what's moving through areas to the north, seeing this snow and then mixing, and then we really for Monday have this brief rainfall. Not going to be too much, but then this high pressure setting up behind it. We're going to see a really temperature drop as we reach Tuesday into Wednesday. Also some lake effect snow could pick back up, but really the rainfall potential into really areas in the GTA is likely around 5 o'clock in the evening Monday, and then maybe a little bit north of that, that freezing rain risk or some ice pellets. Across the prairies, we had those record-breaking warm temperatures, regions like Medicine Hat Saturday. Well, 21 degrees. Now we're getting into that colder air, but really not too much happening to start your Monday. We do have strong winds, though, throughout the overnight hours. Areas to the north, like Churchill, northern Manitoba, northern Saskatchewan, still seeing that blowing snow, that heavy snow continue. Look at these wind gusts, 104 kilometers per hour. That was Saturday throughout the day today. Edmonton picked up a wind gust of 78 kilometers per hour, so really windy conditions and that cooler air. Across the prairies, though, the temperatures, as of about Wednesday, you're going to reach those double digits again. Well, we've had a little bit of a break into the lower mainland for Sunday and then continuing into Monday, but the wet pattern, it returns into midweek. All right. Well, we have more snow to break down. This is a look at the satellite and radar. That snow pushing into southern Nova Scotia. It'll continue throughout the overnight. Let's break it down, though. Let's begin our active weather coverage. Closer zoomed in look now. So that snow pushing into southern sections of Nova Scotia, Yarmouth, Halifax, already seeing it this evening. We are going to really, as we reach closer to the morning hours, pre-dawn hours, get into that freezing rain risk. This will continue to push into PEI, targeting Cape Breton, and then into Newfoundland, of course, as we reach a little bit later into Monday and Tuesday. Widespread alerts, though, to let you know ahead of time. Wind warnings also associated with that, snowfall, special weather statements, and then, as I mentioned, that freezing rain risk is really there for much of Nova Scotia. Also, that rainfall warning. So this is playing it out as we reach the overnight, even evenings. We're seeing the snow pushing in, and then as we reach a little bit later on, that mixing or freezing rain potential filters in, especially for those regions closer to the coast, and then actually that rainfall as well a little bit later on into Monday as it continues to Newfoundland. But for the Maritimes, 20 centimeters, 10 to 20 for regions like Yarmouth and Halifax. Cape Breton Island could pick up 30 centimeters of snow, and then into Newfoundland, the same situation. Avalon seeing a little bit less, a little bit more rain though, and then regions like Gander picking up 30 centimeters potentially, and of course Monday into Tuesday. Not to mention Monday is the first day of spring, and we're talking more snow. This is stopped again at Monday evening, so really dynamic system. We've got that snow, freezing rain potential, as well as rain. All right, let's take a look outside because we have them into us. If you can do so, we'd love to see them. 7 degrees for Windsor Monday afternoon, 6 in Toronto. Not too bad in terms of those temperatures. 7 in Timmins as well as Kapuskasing, and 5 in Sault Ste. Marie. As we reach, though, a little bit later into the week, we see this kind of trough moving through. Then after that, high pressure setting in, northwesterly winds, and then also the potential for some lake effect snow. You'll notice in your 7-day forecast in just a little bit that throughout Tuesday and Wednesday, some areas the temperatures could drop over 10 degrees just from Tuesday to Wednesday. And then nonetheless, those snow belt regions closer to Lake Huron as well as Georgian Bay getting into that lake effect snow once again for the first week of spring. We are going to get into that colder air though. Sunday, even into Monday, not too bad in terms of the temperatures, but then as we reach really, as I mentioned, Tuesday, colder air again. This is what we're watching, though, into next week. We'll have all the details coming up in just a little bit, though, in your Long Ranger, breaking down. Well, spring officially starts on Monday, the last few hours of winter, and we are talking more snow towards Atlantic Canada. Let's begin our active weather coverage. All right, yes, you have it. More snow on the way towards Atlantic Canada. Nova Scotia seeing this already throughout the evening and then into the overnight hours as snow, but then also associated with this as it tracks towards Newfoundland, also that freezing rain risk, as well as filtering in behind that some rainfall. So nonetheless, a messy mix. We are seeing, well, throughout the weekend, Sunday was a beautiful day throughout southern Ontario, mild for Tuesday, and then drastically dropping for Wednesday. We could also see some lake effect snow picking back up towards those snowbelt regions. We had record-breaking temperatures into, for example, Medicine Hat for Saturday, now already into Sunday. Temperatures cooling back off. We will reach, though, by midweek, those temperatures back up to double digits. It's going to be nice. Windy conditions, though, ahead throughout the overnight hours. Those, unfortunately, continue. All right, let's take a look ahead into the first week of spring. Here's your Long Ranger. Well, just when you thought winter was over, yet we have more snow on the way for Atlantic Canada. Areas to the south of Nova Scotia already seeing the snow. Let's break it down. Let's begin our active weather coverage. So a really zoomed in look. Yarmouth, Halifax already getting into that snowfall earlier on in the evening. That continues throughout the overnight hours, but as we reach really morning, we get that risk for that freezing rain, which we'll break down by the timing in a second, but widespread alerts to let you know. So not only are we going to see that heavy snow, also that wind warning associated with it, and also rain and even freezing rain. So it can be really messy out on the roads, those regions that are seeing that snow, then that freezing rain and even rain. This has stopped at evening hours. We are seeing that widespread snow as it continues to push into PEI and then really Cape Breton Island. And then that risk for the freezing rain comes in. So areas along the coast seeing that pre-dawn hours into Monday, also that rain associated with it. And we'll break down as it continues into Newfoundland in a second, but let's take a look at those accumulations. So 20 centimeters possible for regions like Halifax and Yarmouth along the coast. Then Cape Breton Island could pick up 30 centimeters or so. Sydney as well as that. Moncton, just a few centimeters likely for you. But if that track really changed, it is subject to change. As it reaches Newfoundland, well, heavy snow too. Right in the middle, Gandalf, 30 centimeters of snow for central regions. And this has stopped taking a look. We do have that snow, freezing rain, windy conditions, also that rain. So nonetheless, a messy mix to start off spring. Let's take a look outside though. Bucket list place for sure. Glad to have that. All right, those temperatures into Ontario, 7 degrees in Windsor, pretty warm, 6 in Toronto, 7 even in Kapuskasing and 8 in Thunder Bay. That's for Monday afternoon to start off the first day of spring. But I want to jump ahead. We do have some rainfall into the mix throughout Monday, just brief though. Then as we reach really midweek into Wednesday, those temperatures dropping. Also, we could see that lake effect snow picking back up. Really those snowbelt regions, areas closer to Georgian Bay, as well as Lake Huron. Port Elgin regions, Dundalk Highlands, and then this is a look ahead. We do have that cold Arctic air really approaching into Wednesday as we reach that lake effect snow, but then as we reach the weekend, well, that potential for some warmer air from the south surging further north, and then another messy mix on the way potentially. So something we're going to continue to watch to see exactly which areas are subject to get. All right, coming up after your local forecast. Well, spring is just a few hours away. Officially arrives early morning on Monday, but will the spring weather arrive? With it, it's unlikely for Atlantic Canada. Let's dive in. Let's begin our active weather coverage. No snow on the way yet. Again, it is the first day of spring, officially tomorrow, but we do have more wintry weather. Widespread alerts in place. We have snowfall warnings, also wind warnings associated with this, and that freezing rain, especially for Nova Scotia. A rainfall warning as well, really a dynamic system. So throughout the overnight hours, this is playing that in. Areas to the south, Yarmouth and Halifax already got into that snowfall. That continues throughout the evening and overnight hours, pushing towards Newfoundland into Monday. Then we also have that freezing rain risk associated with it. It's really that transition period because that rainfall also filling in behind it. So really as this system transitions from that heavy snow to start and then that rainfall, really that freezing rain risk could really add some chaos out on the roads. In terms of the Maritimes, Halifax could pick up 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. Cape Breton, Sydney, 30 centimeters of snow there. New Brunswick and Quebec, well, the last storm really brought some heavy snow there, getting a little bit of a break, but Moncton not out of the line, nor St. John. Probably not going to get too much, though. In terms of that rainfall, well, 15 millimeters of rain really along that coast, though, and then parts of really eastern Cape Breton Island to see that rainfall through until Monday. Also, Newfoundland makes its way a little bit later into Monday as well as into Tuesday. That rainfall, 30 millimeters of rain, a little bit heavier as you reach the Avalon and St. John's. Also, though, heavy snow right along central Newfoundland, really a little bit further to the west, but Gander could pick up 30 centimeters of snow on that higher end, and then St. John's about 15 centimeters there along with that rain. So definitely stay safe out on the roads. All right, let's take a look outside. Just great. All right, we do have, though, for that region, a little bit mixing on the way for Monday afternoon. The further south you head, changing to that rainfall. This is playing that out, though. Areas to a little bit further north than Parry Sound, seeing this as snow. And then for southern Ontario, just that brief rainfall. Winds are getting into it a little bit earlier, extreme southwestern Ontario, but regions like Toronto or even Barrie, seeing that a little bit later. Regions like Barrie, though, and further north could pick up that freezing rain or ice pellets. Throughout the prairies, though, we've had absolutely gorgeous, even record-breaking temperatures for regions like Medicine Hat. This trough sliding through areas to the north, northern Manitoba and Saskatchewan, places like Churchill, seeing blizzard-like conditions overnight, heavy snow, also very strong winds. But then as it reached really first, this has stopped at the evening hours Monday, so the first evening of spring, while that high pressure setting in and some sun shining as well. But look at these wind gusts. 104 kilometers per hour, Edmonton 78 kilometers per hour. It has been windy, although the lower mainland throughout this weekend getting a little bit of a break. Continues Monday, then it's back for midweek. Glad you could join us this evening. Shannon Bradbury here with you at the Weather Network. We do have some active weather to break down. Let's begin in Atlantic Canada. Last couple of hours of winter, starting off spring, more active weather to talk about for Atlantic Canada. Yes, we're seeing more snow into really southern sections of Nova Scotia early this evening and then continuing overnight, pushing towards Newfoundland as the day progresses and then into Tuesday as well. But also with this associated, we also have that freezing rain risk for many, so some slippery road conditions definitely likely. We had a mild day throughout Sunday in southern Ontario, but we have more chilly weather on the way. Tuesday looking great, so definitely get outdoors if you can do so. Then as we reach Wednesday, those temperatures really falling back down, in some cases over 10-degree drop, and also that lake effect could pick back up. Again, across the prairies, certainly has felt like spring across the prairies. Medicine Hat Saturday, record-breaking warmth, 21 degrees. Now getting a little bit cooler, but it is going to pick back up into really next midweek, Wednesday. Windy conditions, though, especially further to the north, also associated areas like Churchill, blizzard-like conditions, heavy snow, and also those wind gusts really continue to be a factor. Areas, really the border of Saskatchewan and Manitoba, heavy snow, 20, 30 centimeters of snow, strong winds as well. All right, we want to share with you this feature featuring Canada's 150th.
Your Weather Watch continues right here on the Weather Network. Shannon and Kelly here with you. And Shannon, we're headed into the first full day of spring on Monday, but Mother Nature, yeah, she still wants to bring in some snow across Atlantic Canada. Significant snow on the way, widespread snowfall warnings. Let's begin our active weather coverage.
Well, although it is almost officially spring, the spring weather is not quite there for Atlantic Canada. We have widespread alerts in place, not to mention wind warnings too, as well. Kelly, the freezing rain risk really could cause some messy conditions. This is playing that out throughout Monday.
Yeah, especially through Monday morning, through portions of Nova Scotia. The snow will spread across Newfoundland through the day on Monday, and then we will see that transition over to some freezing rain, over to some straight rain, but quite a bit of snow can be expected across Nova Scotia as we head through the next 6 to 12 hours, anywhere from 10 to 20 centimeters down in the southwest to over 20 centimeters across Cape Breton.
Yeah, exactly. And then those strong wind gusts, and as well associated with this, that freezing rain, and then the rain filtering in behind it, 15 millimeters of rain, really for those coastal sections. And then on to Newfoundland, really same story here. Avalon picking up a little bit more rain.
That's because the low is going to be taking more of a westerly track, so we will get into the warm sector across the Avalon as we head Monday night into Tuesday, but significant snow can be expected to western portions of Newfoundland. Over 15 centimeters can be expected there. But let's talk about Nova Scotia, where Halifax Bureau Nathan Coleman was earlier on Sunday. Let's get an update from him.
All right, thanks Nathan for that update. Exactly, we'll continue to check in with Nathan and into the morning hours as well, so tune in for that morning show too. On to Ontario. We do have brief rainfall for southern Ontario, areas further north seeing that snow, but in terms of the rain for southern Ontario, it's just brief, and then that high pressure setting in, and nonetheless those temperatures cooling back down.
Yeah, very light showers can be expected in southern Ontario. Northern Ontario will be dealing with some snow. It's going to be a very tight temperature gradient across the province of Ontario into Quebec. Close to -10 in Thunder Bay for Tuesday, whereas southern Ontario could be getting up to 10 degrees into double digits. But yeah, Shannon, cold air on the way for the prairies. But let's talk about how warm it was over the weekend in southern Alberta.
Yeah,
21
degrees
Wow.
in Medicine Hat, and now Medicine Hat for the start of spring, well, below 10 degrees, so really a huge difference. You'll get into that warmer air, though, really midweek. You'll creep back up to those double-digit temperatures, and really we do have a few flurries into Edmonton overnight, but then this high pressure setting in, so really not too bad for your first start of spring. All right, coming